Aaron, why don't you give us the introduction to today's program?
You're muted.
And he's muted.
It would help if I was unmuted.
Aaron, quit fucking around and give us the intro.
Welcome, everybody, to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games every single level, not skipping any single level. Right now, we are in the throes of hell itself in Doom, the original 1993 Doom, and we are playing through E3M5, what is it called? The Unholy Cathedral. I was about to say like the Catechism of Suffering or the Unholy Cathedral. I am joined, as always, in this hellish journey with my longtime co-host, Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
And our partner, our comrade in arms through Doom thus far, Sam Ingersoll. Sam, thanks for being here.
Yes.
Well done on the introduction, Aaron.
Thanks. It's been a while.
I have to say a quick Let Us Listen segment. Today, let us listen to Michael, friend of the show, or I should say former friend of the show. Michael sent us he sent us the following message. I think Aaron should be the one to handle the intro outro on the podcast. Aaron, you've got great host voice with the right type of energy and cadence and all that. Andy, I love you. You're my boy, but you just don't got it. I tell you what, Michael, you're dead to me. I don't want to hear any of your feedback unless it's effusively positive towards me personally.
Those words turned to ash in your mouth and choked you. You can get it out there.
Strange. 1, 2, 3. I don't see any Michael on the show, so I guess it's not important.
That's an excellent point, Sam. Anyone whose opinion mattered would already be on this Zoom call.
It's true.
Hey,
yeah.
Michael, I think that your opinion's very important, and you're a beautiful, beautiful man. I love you.
I like how how professional you are with your intros, Aaron. Especially the part where you were muted for half of it. That was really professional, and I really appreciate it. And and Mike's opinion is correct.
If you could have heard it, you would have been like, "Wow, I'm hard. Wow."
I'm fully tumescent. Thank you for those beautiful tones into our ear holes. Mike at home, I hope you enjoyed that. Folks, it's Thanksgiving season, and here at One Stage at a Time, we are very thankful. Fellas, I thought we could do a quick round where we say what game or games we're thankful for this holiday season. And because when this episode releases, Thanksgiving should be tomorrow. So if you listen to this on the day it comes out, tomorrow should be Thanksgiving. I'll start. I personally am thankful for The Legends of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, which is coming out this month. Should already be out by the time this podcast drops. I played the demo for that thing, and it was fantastic. It feels like a regular mainline Zelda game. I mean, obviously the gameplay is a lot different, but in terms of the story, the story, the sound effects, it feels like Breath of the Wild. It's like a true prequel, like not just a side game, but a true, like, you should play this. It's part of the franchise and the lore. It's that level of game.
Isn't that a sequel to Genshin Impact?
But it is it canon? Like ish?
Yeah. It's the story. Yeah. I believe it's the story that they allude to in Breath of the Wild that happened with the heroes before Link fell asleep.
Right.
And I think it's that canon story. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right. The demo, you could only do the first 2 missions. And so you can play in the demo as Link, Impa, and Zelda. Those are the only 3.
And
but
Guts.
There's Guts. Oh man, if only you could play as Guts. God,
you basically are, right? Like,
I mean, let's not get into that conversation. You're asking the wrong 2 guys about that. They won't just go, haha, yes.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of strong opinions about Berserk. But I tell you what, if they made Berserk Warriors, that would be the game of all time.
They did.
Saying, Ganondorf
came out a few years ago.
Kick Griffith's ass. That's all I'm saying.
I stand corrected. Apparently I missed this. Did it come out here or Japan only?
No, it came out here. I think it's Battle of the Hawk. Let me double check here.
Well, he looks that up. Aaron, what game are you thankful for this holiday season?
This holiday season, I'd say that I'm thankful for Sonic Mania, because it's the game that my little 4-year-old it's the only game she wants to play.
Aw.
And therefore she says she wants to play games with me. It means I get to play as Sonic for a little while and run around and catch for Dr. Robotnik. I'm grateful for Sonic Mania, the best Sonic game in 20 years.
Does she get to play as Tails when you do that?
She does. And she normally just, like, she'll try and move him around, then she'll just watch me zip around, like, and I know it's just riding her brain because it's literally just her watching a screen at that point, but it's too much fun to stop.
That's what we did when we were kids, and I got to say, that warms the cockles of my heart hearing that story. You're a good father.
That's me, Father of the Year.
Here we go. I'm going to do something for you, Andy.
Oh no! Sam's sharing his screen.
Berserk and the Band of the Hawk.
$25 at GameStop. Yeah,
Wow.
it's Dynasty Warriors Berserk.
Holy crap! I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to get this.
It's basically all the big names from Band of the Hawk you can play as. Casca, Griffith, a couple of the side characters.
Judo, Rickert,
Guts, of course.
Gaston, the big guy Pippin.
Yeah, I think you may not be able to play as Pippin, but you can play as the.
Can you be that little witch girl?
Guy. Which one?
That little witch girl that joins this crew, or the little fairy?
I think it's before that, so she's not
Golden
in
Age
it.
only.
Yeah, I think it's up to. I don't know how many.
No pedo stuff.
I actually don't know how far it goes. I only played the beginning of it.
Can you play as Nosferatu Zod?
No, but I'm pretty sure you fight him.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's the same people who made this also made. Well, no, actually, they made two games. And on PS3, they made a Musu game. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Of Fist of the North Star. Mosu, I think.
I think Muso, but
Muso?
I'm also not sure.
Then Sega made basically a Yakuza game of Fist of the North Star.
Oh.
It's really ridiculous. It's the same way. It plays exactly the same as a Yakuza game, but it's Fist of the North Star. But yeah, you should check it out, Nate. It was if you like that kind of game, it's way more Dynasty Warriors than anything else. It's almost the same setup. Like, here's a castle, go in, kill that general, that kind of stuff. But it's all like the big battles from the manga.
Hey, that's what I want, baby. Even if it's bad, I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth trying out if you're a Berserk fan like I know you are.
Yeah, you know me so well. Sam, what game are you thankful for this holiday season?
I'm thankful that Monster Hunter World went on sale recently on PC. Because
you weren't going to touch it until Rise came out?
Well, I was not going to play anything, but two of my friends who have never played a single Monster Hunter got it on PC. So the three of us who normally play all got it too. So we've been playing again. And it's been a lot of fun because I am forcing myself not to use the switch axe, which is my go-to weapon. So I'm kind of experimenting with a couple other things. So I've used the long sword, which is ridiculous. You basically do a bunch of stuff and then you like jump up in the air and like helm splitter down.
Ooh,
and
tight.
Then the gun lance, which is basically like it's a lance and shield, but the end of it shoots bullets and you can stab it into them and shoot a giant bullet. And it's been a lot of fun. It's a big ass gun blade, and it's a whole nother style of playing because it's like you see the monster come out, you just go tink and you block it. You don't have to dodge or anything, and then you literally stab a giant bullet the size of a small child into its face and blow it up. Oh my
god!
It's really awesome, but it's fun playing with people who have never played before. Usually, since Tri came out on the Wii U, I've been playing with the same two people, and so it's like the last two guys in that group of friends are now playing it, so we can all play it together. It's actually the opposite problem, which is you can only play with 4 people at a time, so sometimes someone has to sit out, which is fine because we've played it a billion times. I mean, I've put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this specific game, and now it's hundreds and hundreds and 30 hours now.
and now you've got this one, and now there's another one coming out soon
on the horizon.
Oh, and we're all going to get that probably, and then if it comes, and there's a rumor that it'll be the PC port, then we'll probably get that on PC.
You'll have to get that one too.
There's only a handful of games where I will do that, and honestly, this might even be the only, like, outside of like, certain first person shooters. But Monster Hunter scratches an itch that no other game does.
Yeah, it just does it for you.
I think it's the complicatedness. Like, it's a very complicated game. It's like, hey, here's 3 things. Now, each of those 3 things, we're going to give you an extra thing, but then they're going to get 2 more. And so all of a sudden, by the end of the game, it's like I've got a textbook amount of knowledge, and I'm just going. It's like it's whatever. I actually had a problem because we were in that mindset, trying to help our friends who hadn't even played a game before, and like we were just like skipping big chunks of like logical thinking, like steps, because it was so down here in the lizard brain for us that we didn't even think about the fact that they didn't know what the fuck we were talking about. So they told us, which was good. So we're kind of moving forward. But I am thankful for that, just because it's a game that the more I do not recommend ever, but if someone does get into it, I'm happy, because it's a weird, hard game.
It's not the same thing, but in terms of what you're saying about like co-op and helping each other along, I've really been enjoying playing Bloodborne with a couple of friends of ours. Same kind of deal where like our friend Pete is like way, way, way more advanced than me and Jared are. And so he'll join our game, and then he'll just like run ahead of us. And, by the time we catch up, he's killed every monster in this stage.
Yeah.
We like experience points just keep like flowing into us from nowhere. So that's been fun. He really helped me out with Vicar Amelia. I was basically hard stuck on her, but he crushed her without even trying.
And that's another thing that we're running into, is I was thinking about how like I can tell when I'm fighting a certain monster. If it moves a certain way, I instinctively know to like, I need to go on to the left side and block. But I don't even think that. I just do it.
Yeah.
And then, the other 2 guys are like bitching, like, because they're dying all the time. And I'm not even like, oh man, that sucks. I'm just like, fighting the monster, whatever.
Yeah, you're just doing it. You just have to know where to stand.
So I have to acknowledge their frustrations and wait till they ask too, because that's a big thing with a game like this. There's so many fucking things, and the way it's designed is there's low rank, high rank, and what they call G rank, which is actually not named that in this game. But every time you pass a level, they add more things in. So you could fight one monster type in low rank, and you get gear from it, and then when you move into high rank, you have to get new parts from that same monster, but only in high rank. And there's actually 2 separate sets of armor you can make from the same guy now. So it's kind of like just gets more and more complicated as you go. And then there's gems like materia, and like it's a whole thing.
Systems upon systems. Well,
I think
fellas,
that's what I like.
I thank you for that. We're all thankful for those wonderful games and many others this holiday season. Listeners at home, let us know what you're thankful for as well. Before we get to the meat of today's program, I wanted to mention this. This is from the rumor mill. So turn to page 64, so that you know how like page 7 is like the page where all the gossip is. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about, and I know why you're
referring to a magazine.
What?
A magazine.
It's like an iPad, like a bunch of iPads stacked on each other, and you move one off each time instead of.
Yes, 'tis made of trees. Correct.
Yes. You used to carry trees in your pocket.
I'm honestly not even sure what I'm referencing, but anyway, from the pages of the gossip mongers, we were talking about Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake a couple episodes ago. I saw this as a rumor. There is a rumor that Tom Holland may be in consideration to play Link himself in the Legend of Zelda live action movie or TV show. It's unclear what it will eventually be.
Okay.
What do you all think of that?
I think that there's only 2 instances in my mind where Link is spoken, and they are both cheesy as fuck.
No, he talks all the time. He goes, yeah.
The cartoon, right? When we were really, really young. And then that horrible, was it CD? So I forget
CDI or something.
Yeah.
Philips CDI.
He'll have to say it, right? He'll have to say, well, excuse me, princess.
I mean, it'll be really quick. He's like, excuse me, princess, and runs past or something.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll put it in there, but it won't be like obvious. He's not gonna like look at the camera like in X3 when Vinnie Jones said, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Juggernaut, bitch.
Oh, the Juggernaut, bitch.
I feel like that'd be a better, like, it shouldn't be live action. I think like they can do like CG, like not cartoony CG, but like kind of in between, like the Dragon Quest movie that came out on Netflix like a year ago.
Have you seen that? Because it's really good, actually.
No, isn't it Dragon Quest?
Your Story.
4 or 5? Isn't it based off of?
It's 5.
5, yeah.
It's
But
it's pretty much a straight adaptation of 5 with a twist at the end, which I'm not going to say what it is, but you should watch it. It's pretty cool.
But like that, like a kind of like a mix between full cartoony and not super, spirits within.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's a $1 billion franchise right there. If they do it right, it's a $1 billion franchise. They're not going to do they're going to do a Netflix movie.
No, I don't mean do it on Netflix. I mean like
an animated movie like that. I can't, if they could get a big name, Tom Holland, bam, Spider-Man himself playing Link,
I don't know, man.
Well, they got.
I don't know, man.
They got Superman playing Geralt of Rivia on Netflix, so why not Tom Holland playing Link?
I also keep thinking of the last time they made a live-action Nintendo movie.
And they made the best movie of all time.
yeah. It transitioned quite well into a live-action feature film.
Yeah, it would be impossible to top Bob Hoskins' live-action Mario, so they may as well not even try.
That's true. It's true.
If they do Zelda.
I sent it to Andy, but did you see some more news video? Like, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour long YouTube video where he breaks down all these movies, these silly movies, and how they're actually like really deep in about fascism and like how Mario Brothers is basically about Donald Trump is a fascist 30 years before he became the fascist president.
I mean, isn't every bad guy in an old video game a fascist?
Yeah, everyone's a fascist now. Anyone you don't like is a fascist.
I don't understand. I don't call everyone a fascist. I do call Donald Trump a fascist. I don't understand your resistance to that label for him.
Okay, well then tell me what a fascist means, Aaron.
A fascist is somebody who creates this is a video game podcast, Andy.
He's a
Go
guy
watch the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Dude,
you will see a fascist.
Now what a fascist is.
Yeah, okay.
He is a man that takes people and puts them in a machine that shrinks their head and makes them a dinosaur. Okay,
that sounds like a hero to me. If that's fascism, then I don't want to be anti-fascist.
Someone who arrests musicians for playing music that they don't like. Someone who
is racist to Italians that he never knew existed until they showed up.
Very racist.
He is very racist.
Yes. Anyways,
I just think bottom line for me is if they try and make a movie based on any of the existing games, I don't think it'll fail. I think it will fail. I don't think they should do that. I think if they do a Zelda movie, they should just make a whole new story. There's no need to make like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, the movie.
Yeah. Just
because Zelda works that way, you could totally make your own story, work with the people who make Zelda games. Don't let them make the movie. You got to find a good the game people don't make movies, they make games, and the movie people don't make games, they make movies.
Yeah.
Just find a good middle ground, and it's got a lot of potential to be bad, I think.
I agree.
But I would love it to be good.
And Miyamoto notoriously hates story in games, and anytime there's a story, he's actively fought against putting it into the game. But the other guy who Koizumi, he really does like story, and a lot of the stuff he's worked on, like Majora's Mask, or he put like the story in Mario Galaxy, like the thing that you read in the library. Like Miyamoto really didn't want that in there, but Koizumi was like, well, let's put it in the library, and then everybody loved it. So like if he's involved, I could see it being like more interesting. But I agree, it doesn't need to be super faithful to the games. Like, maybe like Link to the Past, but even then just like the most loose like outline, and then just kind of make it their own thing.
I think what they should do is get the Nintendo people to go, no, like be there. No. Here are the things that Zelda Link will and won't do.
Yeah.
But don't try and affect the story. But here's like, no, he can't have a machine gun and a cigar in his mouth or something, No, you can't put a push-up bra on Zelda.
But
he can
have a sick motorcycle.
He can, because he has a sick, it just has to look like a horse.
It's in the games. It's canon. He can have a sick-ass motorcycle.
It's the fifth divine beast.
And they need one neutral person to be there to pull the reins in on too many ridiculous Easter eggs and references. Because if there's too many, it's just going to get too silly, But it could work. we'll see. I don't know if it's even a thing. We'll see.
Yeah, reserve
Yeah, I'll just
judgment,
remember.
but cautiously optimistic.
I just want to see Tom Holland and cute little elf ears. That's all I want.
Dude, I'm sure it's on the internet, and I'm sure you can see a lot more.
Just go to my DeviantArt.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not a thing anymore, is it?
No, it's still around.
DeviantArt.com.
Tumblr's gone, or
Internet.
Tumblr porn is
Yeah.
gone. So Tumblr's gone.
That was a sad day for the internet. Okay.
Doom.
All right. Well, let's talk about the topic of today, the Unholy Cathedral. Let me hit you guys with some quick stats here. So the Unholy Cathedral is a product of our friend Sandy Peterson. It is the 5th map of Inferno, the 3rd episode of Doom. The music track is called Demons on the Prey by our pal Bobby Prince. The par time here is 130. We've got 10, that's right, 10 secrets. And on the ultraviolence difficulty, there are 35 imps, 33 demons, 2 specters, 13 lost souls, 6 cacodemons, and 5 barons of hell. Fellas, what were your impressions of the Unholy Cathedral?
Well, I feel that half of the number you just said was in one room
At
one point,
yeah.
and that we were talking about being thankful. I'm thankful for the B motherfucking G in this fucking level.
Yes, sir.
The BFG. I'm just going to start ranting because the BFG was such a letdown for me in this level. I feel like I fired it several times, and like I always used it on a Baron of Hell, and it never killed him in one shot. Even when they were dead on. Yeah, I was like,
it's 2
what
shots.
the fuck is going on? Not previously for me. I don't know.
It should be 1 if you hit him just right.
Yeah, he was right in my crosshairs there,
perfect.
like just dead on, and they kept coming. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
How close?
It always took 2 shots for me.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah. Oh,
Pretty
hey,
close.
I don't know what to say. Yes, I guess sometimes it takes 2, but if you get it just right, you can get them in 1.
Yeah,
I had plenty of ammo for it.
Just my rant over BFG was disappointing for me. Very frustrating. But continue, Sam. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I used it on all the barons and a very specific room that we'll get into.
Yeah. So the layout of this stage is there's a very large central chamber and then lots of other like antechambers around it. So I guess it's kind of like a cathedral. Like you've got your central like worship chamber and then around it all the various side areas. And it's definitely unholy. And we're looking at some of these faces on the wall right now, carved into symbols that I think are probably made up, but could be, from some like Enochian alphabet or, some like satanic Bible type thing. But I do like the faces, and I think they're probably id Software employees whose faces have been digitized. They were doing a lot of that at the time.
Really?
Just like, yeah, they were starting to mess around a lot with digitizing things. Some of the enemy models were they were experimenting with doing claymation and digitizing it. They were like digitizing their own faces and pieces of their bodies and just things around the office. And like a lot of the textures were made by digitizing just like textures that they saw in real life that they thought looked interesting.
John,
Adrian Carmack.
digitize me, bro. Digitize me.
Come on, man, digitize me.
This level was borderline. No, it didn't quite cross the line. Annoying as hell. The way it's set up with the courtyard and the outer walls and like having to teleport around was almost a pain in the ass. Right up to the line there.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't mind it too much once I was like, oh, this is what's going on. Then it didn't bother me, but I could totally see it like being a fucking pain in the ass.
And a lot of I felt like leading up to this point, the secrets were a little more clever, a little step backwards. I feel like, and just like it's a wall you got to touch. Classic kind of secrets.
I like this. We're seeing on our screen now. It's like a full body scanner at the airport.
Yeah,
that you have to walk through.
Satan, Doom guy's
Satan,
wing wang.
Satan can see my ding dong when I walk through this. I object to walk through the full body scanner. This is an invasion of my constitutional rights.
Every time I went into a teleporter or touched that thing, I'd quick saved. That's like what fresh hell literally is waiting for me on the other side of this thing here. And so,
We're at that point. Yeah, Sandy Peterson has nothing but contempt for us, and all
Yeah.
you can do is quick save.
I think he hates people who play video games at this point. There was there's a blue key, skull key, and a yellow skull key, and I used the yellow skull key so quickly without realizing it that I thought it was like a joke that it was in there. But I went back in this video and double checked and realized what had actually happened. That you can't get one of the secrets without the yellow key. There's
Yeah.
a chainsaw and a super health orb underneath a symbol, I guess you could call it, that you
And
can only get with the yellow key.
I don't think I
speaking of
ever
the-
encountered the yellow key.
Well, okay. Well, a couple things there. First, I wanted to say that speaking of the chainsaw, this is the first stage in episode 3 where we get the chainsaw. I don't know if you guys realize that, but we were lacking our chainsaw. It was the only thing in our arsenal we did not have.
I
But
still
at
don't
last we
have
acquired it.
Okay, I just saw Big Mac Davis take down a Baron with one hit. He is up in that guy's grill when he uses it. So maybe I was a little farther away. I still have PTSD from using the rocket launcher, so I feel like I can't be close when I use it, but clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, like we were saying on how it works, it fires those 40 tracers out, and if you're point blank, you can hit them with all 40 tracers at the same time.
Keep that in mind for next time.
But the yellow key, the really bullshit thing about that is once you find it, you have to go back to the big central chamber, and there's just a random section of wall that is unlocked by the yellow key. Which, if you look at your auto map, you can see, or at least I could see on the Switch version, that there was a yellow tinted wall on the map that clued me in that that's where it went. But other than that, it's just a really bullshit secret.
It is not tinted yellow on my version. It was. I kind of found it on accident. I was just kind of like, humping the wall, and I thought it was just a regular secret at first, because up until this point, you've always had the yellow trim for the yellow key. That's never been like just a random secret wall that you just happen to have the key for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bit weird, a weird decision on their part. And then realizing, God, I feel so dumb, but like the fact that there's like the 4 teleporter pads in the corners, and that 2 of them go to different places than the other 2 in each section. Because I ran through the fire. There's like a place where you run through. There's fire on the ground where you can get around without going through the teleporters. And I ran through that and hurt myself so bad. Like, I took half my health just running around looking for stuff, because I didn't realize that you could, like, the different halves of the teleporters would take you to different places.
Yeah, so go ahead, Aaron.
I was gonna say I ran through that fire, and it got me. It saved me some time.
Yeah.
I found what I was looking for by running through the fire. I was like, "Fuck it!" Of course, I quick save, so no real, danger there. But and to what we were talking, like we have to realize that Sandy Peterson and the Johns, they are not our friends. They don't want us to have fun. They want to hurt us.
They want to hurt us and cats, like we learned last episode. Like these are little Dexter Morgans, is what they are.
yeah, no shit.
I get the sense that, like, at this point, John Romero was just like, "Yeah, I'm John Romero. I'm a god of gaming and a future famous person," and was just like in his office, just like stroking his hair.
He's making this face right here.
Just gazing into his hand mirror. Like, meanwhile, Sandy is just working out like all of his most dark and sadistic fantasies and the levels that he's designing. And John is just like, "Yeah, it looks great, Sandy. Yeah, keep
You're doing great, buddy."
All those repressed Mormon things that he couldn't get out in his daily life because of his religion, he was like pumping it in here.
So the structure of this level, we mentioned it already. There's the big central chamber in the cathedral, and it really is like a cathedral. This is as vast as the previous stage was narrow and tunnel visioned. It's easy to get lost wandering around in circles here. And there's this weird teleporter, quote unquote, puzzle where the 4 corners of the central chamber are all teleporter pads. And the doors leading into the central chamber, you have to walk on the teleporters, which warp you someplace else. So to actually get into the central chamber, you have to find a teleporter in another spot that'll let you in there. But not all the teleporters go to the same place, and they send you different places depending on whether you're entering or exiting the room. So it gets very confusing as to what you're actually supposed to do. And to open up there's like 4 secret shutters in the central area. And to open all 4 of them, you have to take different teleporters to and from different routes, which is very obtuse. But anyway, that's how you get all those barons unleashed, and that's how you get the yellow key too, I believe. So all that finally leads you to our precious chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, it was very church-like. Even like the very top of the map was like kind of like the actual church. I felt where you go in and it's kind of you have to like open up that special wall door that's really cool and angular, and you go in and it's got all the little. Yeah, I thought they nailed the theme on here.
It's Our Lady of Baphomet Cathedral.
And then the room that our silent fourth star is in now. Holy shit, what a devious room. So I think the way it works is you go in and there's one imp.
Uh-huh.
And the second you fire your gun or punch it or hurt it, I don't even know how many, but at least 25 enemies teleport into the room, and it's all pinkies and imps. And it is a bloodbath.
Yeah. I was just like, what a fucking crybaby. What a fucking little tattletale. He's like, these little tough guys stomping around in there like, oh, come on, bring it on, just me and you, tough guy. And you shoot him, and he's like, ah, Bobby! And fucking all of his big brothers come charging at you. Just like, motherfucker.
You know what? I take it back. This is a digital scan of Sandy Peterson's face when making this level and watching.
It's very troll
play.
Guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sandy was like, this will teach him to tell me I can't have caffeine.
No, he had caffeine and he made this, and then he never had it again.
No more caffeine for you, Sandy.
Romero's in his office, just massaging conditioner into his hair, and he's like, "Yeah, it looks good, Sandy."
Sandy's like chugging a soda and just screaming at the top of his lungs as he's programming.
Yeah, keep it up, Sandy. Yeah, you're doing great.
But that was very much the moment I was, thankful for the BFG. I think I shot it 2 or 3 times in that room just to make sure everything died. I mean, there was like a part where I could have used a different gun, but I still used the BFG.
I did too, and you actually can get a BFG on this stage, and it's in that same room. Mm-hmm. So they're making sure you have it. They're throwing the BFG at you.
Can't give these BFGs away.
You can't give them away. Let me. I got a map of this stage to show you guys. I found a website that shows you like a top-down version of all the Doom levels. So here we see it from the top down. So yeah, the central area there. I like that it's kind of cross-shaped. There's like on the 4 corners of it, you can see like they've got different artwork. Like one's a big Baphomet, one is Beta Ray Bill. Then there's a couple of those weird symbols that may or may not be actual symbols. But I like how vast it is. It feels cavernous. Mm-hmm. I feel like something this big at the time was probably pretty revolutionary in terms of like rendering that with graphics that they had back then.
Oh yeah.
I like that. Also, this is like a courtyard. You can see the skybox above you, whereas the rest of it's enclosed. So in terms of aesthetics, I dig this stage. In terms of gameplay, not so much, I have to say.
The teleporting stuff, I mean, like the par was a minute, you said, 1:30?
Yeah.
It took me like 20 minutes to play this level, to find everything. Me too. It was cool and fun, but I don't feel like it was a level that I was like super happy to be playing when I played it, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had a pretty good time with this level. Like you said, I really liked the aesthetics. There were tons of enemies, but you never really felt like you were running low on ammo. Like they gave you enough.
That's true.
To get the job done. But it was still challenging at the same time. You teleport and all these, how many are there? 7 demons facing away from you, just wiggling their little booties in your face. And you're just like,
yeah, in this room here.
Yeah. and then the swarm from the crybaby was like, it killed me the first time. I was just like, ah! And then and then I was like, nothing happened until I shot him. So then like I ignored him at first. Like I quickly caught on what caused the problem. It wasn't so like I liked it. I really actually really liked this level. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think for me, I enjoyed the amount of enemies because usually I find myself I enjoy it more when I'm killing some stuff in the game. I did not enjoy this half where I was like looking for the secrets. I wouldn't if I found them all, but like having to traverse the map was really annoying. I didn't. That's what probably the one thing I didn't care for.
Yeah,
but I did like how there was a billion enemies. So like that's why I kind of balanced it out a little bit in my enjoyment of the level.
Yeah, there's a few weird things on this level, like over in this secret, which I didn't even find my first time through, but there's the night vision goggles here. I'm not even sure what you would want those for. I don't remember any dark parts in this level. So it seems like a little weird thing.
Man.
There's one dark place, but it's right when you enter the level at the bottom left corner. I actually was going around and I came back to it and I was like, oh, what's it? And I got up. I couldn't see what was in it. I got up to the door and I saw the door. I was like, oh, this is just where I came in at. So that's probably the only place I could think of, but you don't really need it because it's just a door you go into, you leave out of. So yeah, it seemed kind of strange that those were there.
I also liked the big red room with the crushers. I thought the design of that was pretty cool, like red tiled ceiling, red walls. And then the crushers were kind of neat, and I liked how you hit the switches to lower the different parts of it.
You can see in my background here the funky disco lights that they had in the crusher room.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the map, aside from the silly face, because the whole room itself was interesting and unique, and the door was really cool. I really liked the door to that room.
This is like Satan demands that all of his cathedrals have a rumpus room in the back.
We gotta have some board games in the corner too.
Yeah, make sure they have Sorry and Trouble. I really like Trouble. I like it when you press the popper, the bubble thing in the middle and makes the dice roll.
No Monopoly, goddammit. Keep that out of there.
Oh, I fucking hate Monopoly.
I'm Satan and I'm not even evil enough to play Monopoly.
Fuck that game.
Mammon always just buys the orange ones. It's not fair.
I hate it. I hate him.
I was going to mention Big Mac Davis, who has the advantage of foreknowledge from many playthroughs of this game. He waits until the invincibility power-up is available from the central area after opening up all the shutters, and only then does he go and confront the crybaby room. He makes sure he grabs the invincibility, then runs over here with the berserk pack and just punches everybody out, which is a pretty sweet way to go about it.
A little weak, I mean, not necessary, I would say, I mean, if you're worried about that, I guess.
If you want to be a little bitch about it, you go get the invincibility, whatever.
Right, yeah. We're true esports gamers on this show.
Gamers.
All right. So that's all I have to say about this stage. Fellas, any closing thoughts on the Unholy Cathedral?
Ease up on the amount of teleporting pads, would have enjoyed it more. Maybe make it so you have to go just one direction in a circle and not like play this guessing game and run into like there was on the right hand side, on the west side, there is doors. The east side, where the pinkies are. Like there's a sealed door into the diamond shaped room on the right. So having to go like all the way around this way or that way was really annoying. But all in all, I liked it. Maybe like a little less of the random doors to open for secrets and a little less teleporter pads, and this would have been a solid.
Well, my method, I didn't keep track of shit. You know what I I bolted I got out of a teleport pad and I just ran my ass around and was like, I'll get on this teleport. I just until I found where I needed to go. and it was great. I was like, hey, dead bodies, I've been here before, and I went somewhere else.
You're like Forrest Gump, just running just for the sake of it.
I got through it in 10 minutes. I didn't find all the secrets. Not even close. I think I got like 60% actually, but
most of my frustration stemmed from me trying to finding all the secrets.
Yeah.
That I backtracking and trying to figure out like what the hell am I missing? I could hear like I had 3 of the 4 cardinal points of the D-pad, I guess you could call it, open, and I didn't know, I hadn't clicked in my head what had opened them. So I was running around for a really long time till I finally teleported and opened up. I was like, oh, okay. That's why it took me like 20 minutes to do this level.
Yeah. I took your guys' advice long time ago. Where you're like, don't look for all this, just play it through. And so I'm just like, I'm fucking playing through and killing everything I can. and I had fun. So
That's how to do it. We leave the secrets to Big Mac Davis. We just play the games.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? Any final thoughts on the cathedral, the
Unholy Cathedral.
cathedral?
Well, like I said, aesthetically, I really dig it. It's cool, just imagining what Lucifer Morningstar's idea of a church is. I like his rumpus room in the back. I like the aesthetics of the big central room, especially quite a lot. In terms of design, not so fun in my opinion. I feel like the teleporters get tedious. It's a step down for me a little bit from House of Pain, which I thought was just a really fun stage. Just really in your face, visceral gameplay, but not a terrible stage. Big Mac Davis doesn't care for it. We should say. He says he doesn't hate it, but he doesn't really like it all that much. So I feel like he's kind of on our same wavelength here. But next up is a stage called Mount Erebus, which I'm quite looking forward to. When I played this game for the first time a while ago, this was a stage that really stood out for me. So I'm really excited to get through it again and see what you guys think of it.
Yeah.
But
should be fun.
Before we wrap it up today, let's do a little bit of history. Put on your mortarboards and your monocles, and we're going to the history department for the end of id Software. The end of Idvangelion.
Dun, dun,
Don't
dun.
say it ain't so.
Well, so id Software made Doom, which was a smash hit. They made Doom 2, which was an even smashier hit. And at this point, John Romero totally checked out. He was like, I'm gaming god John Romero. I don't have to go to work anymore. All I want to do is like go do interviews for magazines. And this was a time when there were places around the country where you could just go and play games on computers competitively, which I guess you don't really need anymore since we all just play online. But Romero started going to these things because he was the best at Doom at the time because he'd made the game. And he introduced trash talking to the world. According to Masters of Doom, the first time he went to like a competitive tournament, everyone was shocked because he was shouting things like "suck it down" and "you're my bitch" and shit like that.
Oh god!
So he was the first person to have a heated gaming moment. However,
respect for doing it in person, though. Now we got all our keyboards.
True.
Fuck your mom, bitch. But he did it to their face. Fucking
He probably flipped his hair back when he did it.
Yeah. Credit where credit's due, man. Doing that in person. All right. I feel you.
So he's off being a rockstar gaming god. John Carmack just got worse during this period. He retreated.
How many cats did he kill?
So many cats.
Oh man.
No, as far as I know, there was no more cat murder in his life, but he did retreat into his code a lot. He started immediately working on the next big thing, which would eventually become Quake. But it was a tortured development. It took him a long time, like 2 years or something, before they got the Quake code right. While he was working on that, they pushed out Final Doom, which is the real Doom 3, and was basically a mod where they just contracted it out to fans who were already making maps of Doom for free in their spare time, because all the code to like make your own maps was included with Doom. Carmack was really big about having stuff be like open source and letting people mod stuff, which is kind of cool of him. Yeah. So one of these people was none other than American McGee, who was hired onto the staff at id Software. American McGee was like king shit back then. He was like this 20-year-old kid who was like, I'm the best programmer you've ever seen. And he just like, sauntered into id Software, just started coding levels, just knocking them out one right after the other. Pretty soon Carmack was like, Romero, why can't you be good as American? And American's just like smirking in the corner like, yeah, I'm American McGee.
I can't tell like how much of this is you being jokey joke and how much of this is like
exactly how he talks.
Somewhat accurate. No, like just also what happened at id. Like, how come you can't be as good as American McGee over there, huh?
Well, it's definitely true that Carmack was starting to play everyone off against each other at this point. They basically all decided that like Carmack was irreplaceable. Everyone else could be replaced, but Carmack, if he decided to take his ball and go home, he was the golden goose. They just could not continue without him. The company would have to dissolve because all of like the programming, the innovative engines, everything like that ran all of their games was coming from Carmack. And they figured we can always hire more level designers, but we can't lose Carmack. So Adrian, the artist, and another guy named Kevin, who was also an artist who worked with Adrian, he had come on later, but he owned some of the company. So the owners at the time were John Carmack, John Romero, Adrian Carmack, and Kevin. They were the four owners after Tom Hall was forced out. So Adrian and Kevin, they got together and they were like, we have to do whatever Carmack says. We have to back his play no matter what, because at that point they were making gobs of money. So as the relationship between Carmack and Romero started to fracture, Adrian and Kevin were like, I mean, this is a pragmatic decision. We know what we have to do here. We have to back Carmack's play. So Carmack was becoming increasingly like a tyrant. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that was certainly the case here. Carmack was mad at Romero because, like, Romero, had been there with him, during the death marches of the old times. He'd like swam to their house in Shreveport during that crazy storm so that he could keep coding with Carmack. But now Romero was like, look, maybe we can slow down. We don't have to work as hard. We're famous. We're rich now. Carmack saw that as just the most pure betrayal. He was just stunned that his former partner would betray him in this way. So then we get into Quake. And the development of Quake was like the Beatles' Abbey Road sessions, where they all just fucking hated each other. No one was on speaking terms. They just wanted to throttle each other, but they still kept going into work every day and just knocking it out. And it was just a long, grueling process. Romero was pushed aside for American McGee. Then even American McGee was pushed aside for another guy. They finally got through it. And Quake was a pretty well-received game, but like the day after it launched, the owners called Romero in and were like, they Tom Hall'd him. They were like, we want your resignation. And Romero was like stunned, and like Tom Hall like tried to argue, but eventually just accepted it. So he was cut out, and that meant he lost all of his shares of id Software and could no longer participate in any of the profits from Quake or any of their other games. Then even sweet Sandy Peterson got the axe. Apparently, Carmack thought he wasn't enough of a team player, so shortly after he was fired too. And the guy who like basically managed their office and did a lot of their business stuff, Jay, he quit not long after that. So at that point, id Software was a totally different animal. It was just Carmack at the top, Kevin and Adrian just doing whatever he said. American McGee being like a little shit. He eventually got fired too, by the way. But Carmack just turned into a crazy tyrant. He like moved his desk out into the hallway and would like scream at people for not working hard enough.
The Mad King.
He was like Leto the Second from God Emperor of Dune. he's bonded with the sandworm at this point, and he's cannot be killed by conventional weapons. But he would show up at 4 p.m. and work until 4 a.m. That was like his preferred schedule. And when he saw like Sandy going home at like 7 o'clock, he was like, "You're going home early. How come you're not working full days?" And Sandy was like, "I do. I just I get here at 7 a.m. I don't get here at 4 p.m. the way you do." So that was kind of the end of id Software. I mean, it kicked around for a little while longer. Mm-hmm. They did Quake 2, Quake Arena. They did Doom 3. Doom 3 was basically their last game, though. Everyone was unhappy by that point because all they were doing was making shoot gun games. Adrian and Kevin for a long time had wanted to do something different, like an RPG, but Carmack was just like, nope, we're going to do another military shooter game.
I spent 2 years on this Quake engine. We're not just going to let it sit here.
Adrian, by the way, after he left id, it was a similar situation. Like eventually he just couldn't take it and he left. And he was involved in lawsuits with id, and maybe still is, over not getting paid enough or not getting a big enough share of the profits. So it was definitely an acrimonious dissolution. Everyone moved on. John Romero made Daikatana. Tom Hall made a bunch of games in his own right. He made Rise of the Triad. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it was kind of like around the same era as like Doom and Duke Nukem. It was a game like that. They all landed on their feet. You know, they all had gobs of money from Doom profits, except for Tom Hall. but you know, they've all bounced back. They've all had successful careers since. But that is the end of id Software.
It got the Mitzi treatment, basically.
Yeah,
the original, I would say, you know, they're still around, but they don't really. There's no one left. You know, it's just the name. It's just the IP.
Yep.
I mean, they still make
Carmack.
fun games, but they don't make fun games.
Right. It's like when you go see Leonard Skinner at the Missouri State Fair.
Yeah.
It's not really Leonard Skinner.
At some point, you know, what's that? We talked about it before. That theory with like how much when you replace so much of a part. You know, at some point,
the Greek ship.
Yeah, at some point, Leonard Skinner. It's not gonna. Is it really Leonard Skinner anymore?
Yeah, that's like I'm pretty sure they all died in a plane crash. So there you go. This has been an autopsy and a eulogy of the dead and departed id Software. And I think the moral of the story is that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and John Carmack is a dick.
He's a robot.
Fucking huge bastard. Jesus.
All right. I think that's going to do it for today, fellas. Aaron, what do you want to say to the folks at home before we go today?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and links to all of our socials and our fun stuff. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us out. And we appreciate you, our dear listeners. And
Sam, what words of wisdom do you have for our listeners at home today?
I was going to ask him. I knew you forgot. I was going to ask him.
I had one. Hold on. What was it? What happened was you went to air and I was like, oh, okay. I just dumped out my comment.
Empty recycle bin.
Don't celebrate the holidays this year. Just stay home and don't go out. Don't see your family. Just watch these podcasts instead.
Yeah, Mike, there's a whole bunch.
And Mike, shut the fuck up, Mike.
Mike, I love you. You beautiful man. Those beautiful words that come out of your beautiful mouth. But everybody, thank you for listening. Andy, give us that sign off, my man.
Save and continue.